Hi, I'm Shawn,
I'm Rhonda.
and we're excited to be with you today to talk about some things in God's Word that are showing us how that we can improve our marriage relationship.
So we've been looking in the book of James, and we've shared a little bit already on another video out of James 1. So we want to look at verse 19.
Yeah, so it says, "Wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath." Gracious, if we're practicing that in our relationship, in our marriage, that is going to make a huge impact.
Because this is the speaker-listener rules right here in the Bible.
So being slow to speak is kind of like you're not quite as interested or as excited about what you've got to say.
Wow.
How many times do we?
That's actually what that word slow means in that verse.
Not quite as excited about what you have to say as to hear what your spouse has to say.
Right. Can you imagine reducing the excitement over your own topic or agenda so that you might elevate excitement in the other person's topic or agenda? So, how excited am I about what I have to say?
Versus how excited am I about what she has to say?
Is my focus more on how I will respond, what I'm going to say next?
Or on hearing the heart of my spouse? Or is my own voice speaking more loudly than theirs?
And that happens a lot where people have difficulty hearing or seeing the spouse because they see themselves so prominently or hear themselves so loudly they can't see or hear anybody else.
Kind of like looking in the mirror and all you see is you, and you
self-focused.
Don't see. But I mean, goodness, we're in a relationship. We married this person.
Yeah.
We obviously need to look at them and hear them.
Right. And so we want to evaluate ourselves. We could even ask our spouse, do you feel that I more easily focus on myself than on you? Because our spouse should get the feeling that I want to focus on you more than I want to focus on me, especially when I'm playing the role of listener.
And you might have to brace yourself for the answer because that might be a difficult pill to swallow.
And I love the combination here of being quick to hear, slow to speak. And I know we're kind of getting into the slow to speak, but those things pair well together for the listener. Quick to hear, very attentive, slow to speak. We're holding off on the words. Can you imagine when you're trying to resolve conflict, holding off on your own words? You're slow to speak.
Proverbs 10:19 says, "In the multitude of words there wanteth not sin," or there's no lack of sin. "He that refrains his lips is wise."
Well, the multitude there means abundance. Some people just talk a lot. They monologue, they hold the floor, they're intense, their volume and quantity and quality of words is abundance. It's a multitude. Think of like a flood coming in and overwhelming the other person.
There's no lack, no desisting of sin.
Right.
When there is so much presented.
Right.
We can present too many, and this is probably a spin-off of this, but sometimes we can present so many issues and wonder why we can't resolve something, but we put 10 things out on the table.
It can be too many words or too many topics.
Yeah, and we can slow that down. It's really a good exercise to really try to make what you're talking about only encompass one issue, not a string of issues.
Or a facet of an issue at a time.
Yeah, because it just complicates it.
Now, sin in this verse means revolt, rebellion, trespass, entering another person's property uninvited. Can you imagine? This is what I see when I think about trespassing here. When there's too many words, basically, in the conflicted marriage, you've got one spouse pursuing and the other one is running away. And so in this case, it's talking about the spouse that's verbally or emotionally aggressive or pursuing of the other person. They're going to cause rebellion or revolt, but they're trespassing. They're forcing information into the other person that is unasked for. They don't want this. You're making them listen, or to the extent or amount of time you're making them listen. You're crossing into some place uninvited.
Wow. And the remedy for that is he that refrains his lips is wise. And this refraining is to restrain. to spare, to keep
What
back.
we've been talking about.
Yeah, and so basically holding back the floodgate
Right.
of your own words is a wise person.
So summarize this verse, because this is a meaty verse. You should really study this verse. When there's a lot of words, a lot of topics, a lot of issues, there is no lack of trespassing.
Wow.
But the person that refrains or holds back and lets it eke out just a little at a time as the other person can handle it, which is a godly thing, that person is going to be more successful in his communication, applying it strictly to communication, than the other person who is just gushing forth.
So could it be that in the marriage relationship there is a lot of trespassing going on?
Yeah.
That maybe there's too many words, maybe too much is being presented,
Yeah.
and we need to pull it back and we need to rein it back in.